Today I'm working on a 2005 Volkswagen Golf. This one has a diesel motor, and it's the older style diesel motor. It's the BEW. These are after the ALH, and they have a few more problems than the earlier versions, I would say, but they're a little bit less complicated than the newer ones, at least. I've had replaced camshafts on these in the past and stuff like that, but I've seen a lot with very high miles on them, so they hold together pretty decent. This one, the customer's complaint is the belt's very loud. It's making a loud squeaking noise, like a squeaking belt, and you notice it more when you cut the steering wheel all the way to one side or the other. On cold startup, you hear it real loud as well. Also has an engine light on. Engine lights for something that's super common. You used to see it all the time. It has open circuit faults for the glow plugs. It usually ends up being this harness. You can see the harness is all cracked up and damaged. When you go to pull this off the glow plugs, it's gonna break into 100 pieces, most likely. And they're not that difficult to replace. You can get kind of a repair section of the harness and splice it in. Also has a fault relating to the engine not getting up to temperature. Typically on these, it's gonna end up being the thermostat. It's also pretty easy to do. Right underneath this little vacuum accumulator that's broken or loose, just 2 bolts. There's one of them, the top one you can see, there's one underneath it, and you can pull those right out of there. But the cause of the belt squeak is the alternator decoupler. You see this a lot on the newer ones, and it's often mistaken for a tensioner problem, because you can see the tensioner kind of slaps around everywhere when these fail. But the decoupler on the pulley on the alternator, it is supposed to act as kind of a one-way, like almost a ratchet, where it slips one way and then it drives it the other way, and that kind of absorbs a lot of the pulsations of the engine. And when they get stuck, you'll notice the engine seems like it's running really rough. The tensioner will be slapping around really violently, kind of swinging, the live tensioner. Easiest way to check if that's what's going on, other than pulling the dry belt off, is I like to just get kind of on the front of the alternator with a screwdriver, just a little screwdriver. You don't have to push hard at all. You'll know very easily. And these little fins on the alternator, you can just give them, push a little bit in one direction, push a little bit in the other direction. If neither direction is slipping with the belt on it, and it's not spinning either way, then the decoupler itself is seized. So you need a special tool to get that off. As you can see, it's a big spline thing in the front, and then inside of that you hold the alternator with a triple square bit. It comes as a little kit. You can buy them on Amazon for pretty cheap, and yeah, not a huge deal. So especially on this one, it's a little bit easier because you can do it in place. There's quite a bit of room off the front. On some of the newer ones, you have to pull the alternator off and kind of do it on the bench, but this one, there's plenty of room. So yeah, I'll show you what that looks like. I'll attach a video where the thing is idling and you can see exactly how much movement's at that tensioner. And this is a pretty common scenario. So when you see that, and it seems like your motor's running a little bit rough, your belt's squeaking, stuff like that, and you see it looks like your tensioner is violently dancing around like that, it's very likely that your decoupler on the alternator is the cause. So just something to check. Don't go right to replacing the tensioner. You see it done all the time. Usually the way I diagnose this is, there's a complaint about the belt, or the car's running rough, and you'll see a brand new tensioner on it and a brand new belt, and it'll still be doing it, and you'll see the brand new tensioner slapping around violently, and it usually ends up being the decoupler on the alternator. So a lot of other applications have the same issue. You just notice it more on the diesels, but yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching.